Hi everyone, and welcome back to Conservation Chronicles.
World Rhino Day is the day of which we remember this critical endangered species that is at the brink of extinction. Hi everyone, greetings to a lady in my language, which is Setswana, is Dumelama. Greetings to a man in my same language, Setswana, is Dumelara. Thank you very much in my language is Kialeboha. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. Thanks for coming to this big gathering. This is a wonderful day, a day of World Rhino Day. Thank you very much for attending this auspicious occasion.
Indeed, it is World Rhino Day, BT, and so today we are completely devoted to the rhinoceros. We actually have so much information to share about the rhino that we are going to cover them in our next installment as well. So, World Rhino Day. Who knew it existed? We hope lots of you did, but if not, that's part of why we're here. World Rhino Day was actually created in 2010 and is a day for us to focus on the rhinoceros, all 5 species, black, white, greater one-horned, Javan, and Sumatran. It's a day to raise awareness about the plight of the rhino, and as many of you know, the rhino faces extinction if we do nothing to save it. Why is it that the rhino faces extinction? In short, man's greed. We are their only predator. While lions and hyenas may attack vulnerable babies, an adult rhino is only preyed upon by man. This phrase, the Big Five, I'm sure you've heard about it, and rhinos are one of them. It originally related to hunting. The Big Five were the hardest and most dangerous animals to hunt on foot, and so were the biggest prizes. Of course, trophy hunters still want to hunt rhinos despite their endangered status. Thankfully, though, the phrase has come to represent the most sought-after safari sightings and is much less about hunting. The real threat to rhinos now is poaching, the illegal hunting of a rhino for its horn. It is important to note that the horn is one of the most valuable illegally traded wildlife commodities. It is worth more than gold and cocaine, and the trafficking is often linked to syndicates who also traffic in weapons, humans, and drugs. Poachers are actually often a very low man on a totem pole, risking their life to get the horn moved up the chain to those who really profit from it. There are many reasons why the horn is in demand, unfortunately. First, the horn has been used in traditional Chinese medicine for a very long time as a cure to many ailments. We must be very clear. There is no medicinal value to the horn. It is keratin, same as our fingernails, same as parrot beaks, same as horse hooves. As the horn has gained value on the black market, it has gained value as a gift. People will buy and gift trinkets, ornamentals, or jewelry carved out of the horn. But they also gift chunks of the horn, and they display horns as a symbol of wealth. The horn has also been sought after by Yemeni men to be used as a dagger handle. So again, here you see, the only thing driving demand for the horn is man's greed. How serious is the poaching problem? Well, one rhino is killed for its horn almost every 10 hours. This is unsustainable, not just unacceptable. They just cannot reproduce fast enough to replace the population poached. Aside from being incredibly cruel about taking the horn, poachers often leave behind orphans who will try and defend their mothers, being injured in the process, and who will stay with her body, sometimes falling victim to predators or becoming dehydrated and starved. Poachers continue to become armed with more advanced surveillance equipment and arms, have learned to take down a rhino without a gunshot being heard to identify them, and during COVID have taken advantage of the presence of fewer people on the ground and the drying up of funding for anti-poaching activities. There are many anti-poaching strategies, and much work is being done to educate people about the horn so that they will reconsider purchasing it and driving demand. Today, however, I'd like to tell you more about PARCA and our vision and mission and how we hope to impact rhino conservation. PA Rhino Conservation Advocates, or PARCA, was established in 2016. I had the chance in 2015 to visit Namibia, my first trip to Africa, and everything I had dreamed Africa would be. After I returned home and was looking for direction on how to become active in conservation in some way, I had the great fortune to meet Derek and Beverly Joubert. The Jouberts are conservationists, award-winning filmmakers, photographers, and much more. I told them about Namibia and my desire to get involved, and they suggested we help support their joint effort called Rhinos Without Borders. Rhinos Without Borders was created to relocate rhinos out of areas with high rates of poaching to areas that are much safer. And with that, our work began. Now, while the Jouberts started us on this path of helping to save the rhino, there are many more reasons for why we want to save them. We have learned so much about these animals that contributes to why we find it critical to focus on ensuring they are protected. Rhinos have literally been around for millions of years, and we want that to continue. We want our children and our grandchildren to enjoy seeing them in the wild. We mentioned they're one of the big five. Ecotourism dollars contribute to economic growth and development when people travel to see them. Of course, we believe in their inherent value, and we believe they should be protected from suffering. They are maternal creatures. Their calves stay with them for a long time. They are not kind, the poachers, when they kill for the horn. And again, the orphans often witness their moms being poached and stay by their side. Rhinos are an umbrella species, so when we protect them, we protect many others in their habitat. We spoke about the linked to international crime, including other laundering and weapon trafficking, and President Obama has called this a major threat to national security. In addition, all of the PARCA founders and board members work in healthcare, so we just can't support anything that is not medicine being sold as such. People with a real illness deserve real medicine, and the hope and the hopeful reality that what they're consuming for their ailment will actually contribute to a cure, which the horn will not. We cannot be clear enough about this. The horn is not medicine. So, PARCA has a vision of a world in which the rhino is free from the threat of extinction and natural habitats preserved forever. Our mission is to fund the relocation and protection of wild rhinos, fund the care of young rhinos orphaned by poaching, and raise public awareness about their plight. In our 4 years of existence, we have developed many partnerships and important relationships. Our goal is to fund the work being done on the ground in Africa that helps us achieve our vision. Our first partnership, as I mentioned earlier, was with the Jouberts, Great Plains Conservation, and their joint effort, Rhinos Without Borders. Through that partnership, we have funded the move of 2 rhinos from South Africa to Botswana, and we now support the monitoring of the translocated rhinos. There are several reasons why Botswana is considered safer for the rhinos, which is important to mention. First, the rhinos are moved to areas very deep in the wilderness, so there are natural barriers that protect them. Second, the concentration of rhinos is lower here. One reason South Africa sees so much poaching is that they have the highest concentration of rhinos. BT, why don't you give us some more information on the translocation of these animals to Botswana and your thoughts on why rhinos are safer there?
Over 150 years ago, both white rhino and black rhinos were persecuted, hunted, and poached almost close to extinction. Reason being that trophy hunting was allowed in Africa. In 1992, we had southern white rhino fewer than 19 in Botswana. During that same year, 1992, black rhino was regarded as local extinct. In 1993, the remaining white rhino were put under sanctuary. under a heavy guard of government security. And the same year, 1993, both black rhino and white rhino was regarded as extinct in Botswana, as there was no one of them remaining in the world. In year 2000, we had a great initiative of non-governmental organization, Wilderness Safaris, with dedicated conservationists. They approached the government of Botswana in collaboration in order to translocate rhinos from dangerous zone to safe zone. The mission was successful and the mission was accomplished as rhinos were reintroduced in Botswana in 2001. Another conservationist collaborated in 2014, Great Plains Conservation and Andy Beyond Company, and they formed a foundation called Rhino Without Borders, which later collaborated with the government of Botswana in order to move rhinos from dangerous zone to safe zone. The mission of Rhinos Without Borders was to move 100 rhinos from dangerous areas to safe areas. Then about 87 rhinos were moved safely into Botswana. Right now, all the species are doing very well, as the cows are having many calves and they are very, very successful. No one likes poaching in Botswana. No one encourages poaching in Botswana. Most of the local people love to see these animals in their natural environment. They are happy to see them in the wild. They are happy to see them in nature. They love rhinos because they know that these rhinos attract tourists and they can benefit money from the tourists who come to Botswana to see this beautiful species. But the main worry now with the local community is, what if these rhinos goes to extinct? If these rhinos extinct, which means that most of the local people who are working in companies, tourism companies, might lose their job, and the local community who have been benefiting from tourism might end up not having money. So they are really, really worried about poaching. Most people in Botswana, they don't like poaching and they don't support it at all. They are happy with photography in Botswana.
Thanks, BT. You can see that this has been a very important initiative for us and will remain at the forefront of what we support. In addition, we have also partnered with Care for Wild Rhino Sanctuary in South Africa, where we sponsor Ribbon, this beautiful orphan in the picture who was left behind when her mother was killed for her horn. Ribbon is growing up fast under the watchful eye of the team at Care for Wild, and ultimately will be reintroduced to the wild in a protected area. I feel compelled to mention here that many folks don't know that rhinos use noises to communicate, and the babies crying out when it's time for their milk bottles is one of the sweetest vocalizations you'll ever hear, though it's also heartbreaking when you stop to think that these orphans are crying out for milk from their human surrogates. Have a listen to them. Turn up your speaker for just a second.
Guess we shouldn't. We shouldn't sneeze.
Pretty sweet, huh? We have also provided support to rhino conservation work being done in Kenya by the Sheldrick Wildlife Trust. Most people know the trust for its incredible work with orphaned elephants, but they are also very active in rhino conservation and with a variety of other conservation activities in Tsavo National Park. One of the unanticipated but great outcomes of our work for the rhinos has been about people. And I need to mention this because of how powerful it's been for us, but also because it's what sowed the seed of my friendship with BT and now has led to our partnership on Conservation Chronicles. We had no idea when we started all of this that we would build friendships, both here and at home, with people who share a passion for wildlife and its preservation, but also with people in Africa. People like BT and our other expert safari guides who have taught us so much about Africa and her wildlife. George, Bundy, Jackson, Kevin, Teacher, Rio, Ozol, Spike, and so many others. People like Poster, Somalia, and the other rangers we have met who work so hard to protect the rhinos. Folks in the camps we have visited who make our stays so special. The people who book our trips and get us around safely. People who understand the value of the wildlife they are fortunate to share their land with. One of the things BT will share with us next time is what the rhino means to folks living in Botswana. For us, the rhino has become not only a cause we are passionate about, but also a symbol of something that can bring so many of us together and really enrich our lives. So today, we really do celebrate these animals, and we hope that you enjoyed this presentation. With that, I'll put up a slide to tell you how you can help. There's lots of ways to join us and help our efforts to save the rhino. PARCA is a small organization based near Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and we welcome anyone who wants to help us with our work. Always feel free to email us or reach out on social media. We welcome volunteers, people who are curious about learning more, folks willing to help share our posts and educate others, and anyone who just wants to be with like-minded people interested in conservation. We think we are pretty unique, being an organization focused on the rhino from the East Coast of the U.S., but we have learned that there are so many people out there who love the rhinoceros. Conservation Chronicles is not only a way for BT and I to share our love for nature, wildlife, travel, and conservation, but also to reach out and connect with others. And with that, I'll bring this edition of Conservation Chronicles to a close. As always, we hope you enjoyed it and learned something you didn't know before. We'll be back next time with BT featuring lots of stories and information about the iconic rhinoceros. Thanks for being with us.